Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to draw a city in 1-point perspective. This is my example, very basic example. I have other ones that are more detailed, but as an introduction to this assignment, I think this one works the best to make it the least amount of confusing as possible. Okay, so you're going to need a piece of paper, a ruler, preferably, or if no ruler, use anything that's straight that you can make straight lines with, like the edge of a folder or the edge of a book, anything like that. The first thing you need to do is find the center of the paper. There's more than one way to find the center of a paper. The easiest one is to draw a line, diagonal line from corner to corner, and another diagonal line, and where those two lines intersect, that would be the center of the paper. We're going to do a more mathematical way to find the center of the paper right now. If you have a ruler with numbers on it, that is. Okay, so you line up your ruler, and this paper is 11 inches long. So to find the middle, you need to divide 11 by 2. So 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. So I'm going to find the 5 and the 5.5 mark and make a dot. If you're not sure where the 1/2 inch mark is, this is the 5. The longer line in the middle is the 5.5, and then obviously 6. So these are the 1/4 inch marks, but we were looking for the 5.5. So 4, 4.25, oh wait, 5.5, my bad. 5, 5.25, 5.5 will be right there, 5 3/4, and then 6. So we are looking for the 5.5 right there. 5.5 at the top, slide your ruler down to the bottom of the paper and mark the 5.5. You need to do both the top and the bottom, because if you don't, and you just use that top mark, chances are that your line is not going to be in the middle when it gets to the bottom. You need 2 marks to put your ruler beside to make sure you have a straight line. Turn your paper this way, do the same thing. So the width of this paper is 8.5, so 1/2 of 8.5 is 4.25. So I'm going to mark 4.25. Again, let's see. So 4, 4.25, 4.5, 4 3/4, 5. So 4.25 is right there. So 4.25, slide to the bottom. If you're using normal copy paper like I am, your measurements will be the same to find the middle. Okay, so there we have it. This is the middle, and this is where everything will line up with. We call this the vanishing point or focal point. I usually say vanishing point because it does look like everything vanishes away in your picture at that one point. So vanishing point, that's would be right here. Pretty much everything we're drawing is going to line up with this vanishing point. The first thing we're going to do is draw the street. So the street, the lines are going to come straight out from the vanishing point. You can decide how wide you want your street to be. I'm going to leave some room for a sidewalk, like in the example. So you put your pencil on the vanishing point, decide how far you want your, or how wide you want your road to be, and draw a line. Do the same for the other side of your road. This could be the yellow line, as we see on roads. As they get closer to you, those dotted yellows will be bigger, because things appear bigger when they're closer to you. As they go further away, they appear smaller. So there's our yellow line. There's our road. I'm going to put my pencil back again. And this is going to be our sidewalk. I'm going to have it on both sides. Okay. There's often a ledge, okay, beside. So we're going to draw a line close to the sidewalk. That would be like the edge of the sidewalk, the edge of the curb. Okay. The lines for the sidewalk would go straight across. And when I mean straight, I mean horizontally straight. For some reason, it seems students, when they get to this point, they want to draw them like way wrong. And I don't get that. So if you're not sure if it's straight across or not, you can take your ruler and line up the edge of your ruler with the edge of the paper. That way you know you are making lines that are definitely going straight across your paper. As you get closer to yourself, these sidewalk lines will be larger, the same as we did with the dotted line in the middle. Bigger to smaller. In fact, I'm gonna put in a couple more that are far away. So we have road, sidewalk. We'll do identical to this or similar to the example here. We'll start with the trees first on the left-hand side. We're assuming that these trees are all the same size. Normally when you walk or see trees anywhere, they're not all the same size, but for this exercise, we're gonna pretend they're all about the same height if you stood them side by side. But we're not looking at them side by side, we're looking at them going away from us. So just to give a little help with drawing them, we're gonna put our ruler, and this is a guideline, so make it very light. Put your ruler on the vanishing point and angle somewhat up towards that corner of your paper. So that way we know the tops of the trees will kind of line up with that line. However you draw your trees is up to you. Don't mind if what they look like, really. Put some roots on mine. But, so, tree number 1. Just pretend that looks like a tree. There we go. Tree, and another tree. And you can take your time and make yours look better. I'm making lollipop trees right now. You can always go back in and make them look a lot better. So I'm drawing them until I can't draw them anymore. So there's our trees. We can erase any lines that go through the trees because we would not see them. And that guideline that we just drew, we don't really need, so you can erase that. So we have our trees. The next thing you would need is a horizon line, which you can use this line as your horizon line, separating the sky from the ground, okay? If you want to add in other things like benches or maybe a pond, like it's a park, you can do that also behind the trees, whatever you want. On the right side, we're going to do buildings. The buildings also will work with a light guideline. So let's do pencil on the vanishing point, line up to the corner. I'm actually gonna erase that right now. Okay, so this would be the tops of our buildings. You can decide how big or small you want them to be. I'm actually going to start far away this time and work my way closer, just because you can start wherever you want. The edge of your building will be vertical, straight up and down. So there's the edge of my first building. I'm going to make this one about that high. The bottom of the building will be another vertical line. Well, not the bottom. The bottom lines up with the sidewalk, but the edge of the building will line up vertically parallel to that first line. This is going to be a thin building, so 2 horizontal lines here and down. There's my first building. If you want to do windows on your building, they will also line up with your vanishing point. So line your pencil up and they will line up with the vanishing point. So they will be angled to the vanishing point and look something like you would actually line your ruler up with the vanishing point for the windows also. If you draw windows on the side, they will not line up to the vanishing point. They do not line up. Looks best if you use a ruler. I'm saving time by not. You can draw bushes beside the building if you wanted to make it look prettier. Onward to the next building, vertical line, decide how wide, vertical line, there we have our building, okay. Straight across horizontally, down. So you get to the bottom, okay, like so, all right. You follow the same process until you get, obviously, to the edge of your paper. How many buildings you choose to do is up to you. Okay, tuck it down here. There we go. Oh, that one gets all the way to the bottom. Okay. And across, and across. Actually, I'm gonna make that one longer so that it goes behind. So there we go. I would draw windows or something, maybe even you could do doors. A door would be straight, parallel vertically to the edge of the building. The top of the door would line up with the vanishing point, the same angle. So we coming down, and then vertical straight up and down for the other side of the door. You could put names on your buildings. If you wanted to do like a sign across the top, it would have to line up with the vanishing point. So, okay, that would be where you could put a title, or wherever you want a sign for a building. You would keep your letters inside of those lines. So let's just say, what should I do? We'll just write something generic. So we'll say food, okay? So here's your food store. Okay. Up here, you can do whatever you want. On the example one, did a sunset. I've seen all different kinds of things done. Planes in the air, anything that you'd like to do up in the air is fine. When we're done with the buildings, you don't need that guideline anymore. I hope this helps some, and I would love to see anything that you would do with this, and hopefully it would look different than mine. You don't even have to have trees. You could have buildings on both sides, or you don't have to have any buildings and have trees on both sides, or maybe telephone poles. There's so many different things you can do with this. Again, I'd love to see what you do. If you have any questions, please message me and I will help you to the best of my ability. Thanks and have a good day.